that video can lend to such a kind of a credibility factor, part of what I think it does is it kind of humanizes the brand, whether it's business, a business brand or like a personal brand. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's interesting. It does two things that almost feels like a contradiction. It humanizes them. It creates an emotional relationship through digitally. However, it also elevates the
Mm,
individual. It also makes it almost, if you do it the right way, which is kind of the system that we've built out, working on this for the past almost 12 years now on just this specific process, it celebrifies, right? If that's a word, even it turns, essentially it does what Gary Vee and Grant Cardone and other kind of business influencers and business celebrities have been able to achieve. However you feel about them, there's an undeniability as far as their recognition, and this, I believe it comes from like this, the fact that we all grew up watching films and TV, even if it was only on a casual level, we're used to just seeing somebody, if they're on screen, if they're in a professionally produced video, suddenly we feel like they're above the average person. And there's
yeah.
there's practical reasons for that, right? Because it does take some production, it does take some money, and it takes a certain level of success to have made it to the point where you're creating content, at least at a certain level. And so subconsciously, I believe that when we're seeing somebody on screen for the first time, and that's our first impression of them, by the time we actually speak to them on the phone or through Zoom or any kind of virtual meeting, there's a little bit of a starstruck.
Yeah.
It's subtle, but there's a little
Yeah.
bit of that feeling when the audience is talking to the person one on one, and that effect, I believe, is what bridges the gap from, oh, I know this person versus, oh, I like this person, and then that third level, oh, I trust this person.
Yeah, no, wholeheartedly. I think something too that you kind of said there that kind of struck me was, well, people connect with people at
Yes.
the end of the day, right? Like, I think about like a car commercial, for example, like when they do the slick driving,
Yeah, yeah. Through the
thing for the
mountains.
car, which that stuff can be good to like grab our attention, right? But who sells you the car? The car salesman does when you get in there. Like, right, that's when you like really get over and it's like, okay, yeah, I'm buying this thing, right?
Yeah.
But you were mentioning, you said like Gary Vee, Grant Cardone, like the influencer, business influencer types.
Yeah.
I think it's so crucial that they've done what they've done with putting their face out there as much as they do, because that's ultimately why I believe the videos are so strong for them, is because one, volume, right?
Yes.
Gary Vee may, disagree with you in terms of like you talked about high quality video production, where he might just say, dude, just pull your camera out and start recording, right? And there's a
Yeah.
certain level to like where you stand. But I do agree with you in what you said about like the first time somebody meets you, when you put yourself on a pedestal intentionally above where they might be, you exponentially make yourself, even if you're not, look much further ahead than they might be in their particular situation, right? So I think you're exactly right there. But also, what I think the reason why video is crucial to building brand in 2025 is really because I think the consumers, they really expect it at this
Yeah.
point, right?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to like see your like long landing page like of sales jargon or whatever it is to get somebody, into your ecosystem or over the hump, take the next step or whatever. If you
Yeah.
just hit them with that onslaught of video content and stay consistent and show up every day, that's going to do what a long landing page may or may not do for you in the ultimate long run.